A long time ago, a powerful kingdom called Lydia existed in what we now know as modern-day Turkey. Around 650 BC, something extraordinary happened there. The Lydians invented the world's very first coins. Before this moment, trade was a complicated dance of barter and exchange. People would trade goods directly, like a bag of wheat for a piece of cloth. Or they might use chunks of precious metal, but these had to be weighed and tested for purity every single time a transaction was made. This was slow and often unfair. The Lydian invention changed everything, creating a standardized unit of value that would reshape human history forever. These first coins were not made of pure gold or pure silver. Instead, they were crafted from a special natural alloy called electrum. Electrum is a mix of gold and silver that was found in the rivers of Lydia, particularly the Pactolus River. Legend says this river was filled with gold after the mythical king Midas washed his golden touch away in its waters. The Lydians saw the potential in this shiny, pale yellow metal. They decided to form it into small, bean-shaped lumps of a consistent weight. This simple but brilliant idea was the dawn of coinage, a system that would spread across the globe and last for millennia. The importance of this invention cannot be overstated. It was a revolution in how people thought about money and value. For the first time, a government, the Lydian kings, guaranteed the worth of a piece of metal. They did this by stamping each lump with an official seal, often the head of a lion, which was the symbol of the Lydian royal family. This mark was a promise. It said, "This piece contains a certain amount of precious metal, and I, the king, say it is so." This trust was the foundation of currency, a concept we still rely on today every time we use a dollar bill or a credit card. The creation of coins simplified trade in a way that was previously unimaginable. Imagine a merchant no longer needing to carry scales and touchstones just to buy some olive oil. He could simply count out a few electrum coins. This made commerce faster, easier, and more reliable. It allowed for the growth of markets and the expansion of trade networks. The Lydian coin was more than just a piece of metal. It was a tool that powered economic growth and connected people in new and powerful ways. It laid the groundwork for the complex financial systems that would define future civilizations. The process of making the first Lydian coins was a blend of natural resources and human ingenuity. It all started with the electrum, which was collected from riverbeds. This naturally occurring alloy had a variable composition, meaning some pieces had more gold and others had more silver. The Lydians would melt this raw electrum to purify it slightly and cast it into small oval-shaped blanks, which we call flans. These flans were roughly the same weight, creating a basic level of standardization that was crucial for them to function as a reliable currency. This was the first step in turning a simple lump of metal into a symbol of wealth and power. Once the flan was ready, the real craftsmanship began. The flan was heated to make it soft and malleable. It was then placed on a sturdy block of metal called an anvil die. This lower die was carved with a design, typically the forepart of a roaring lion, a powerful symbol of the Lydian monarchy. The image was cut into the die, so it would appear raised on the surface of the coin. This intricate carving was done by skilled artisans and represented the official authority of the state. The lion's head was not just decoration, it was the king's signature, guaranteeing the coin's value. Next, another tool called a punch was used. The punch was a simple, sturdy metal rod, but its end was often marked with a rough, square, or rectangular pattern. A worker, known as a striker, would place the tip of this punch on the other side of the heated flan. Then, with great force and precision, the striker would hit the top of the punch with a heavy hammer. This single, powerful blow drove the soft metal of the flan into the carved anvil die below, permanently impressing the lion's head onto one side. The rough pattern of the punch would leave an in-use square mark on the reverse side. This method, known as die striking, is remarkably simple yet effective. Each coin was essentially handmade, which is why no two Lydian Electrum coins are exactly alike. The strike could be off-center, the pressure uneven, or the flan slightly misshapen. The reverse side's punch mark is a distinctive feature of these early coins. It wasn't a design, but the crude result of the manufacturing process. These beautiful and slightly imperfect objects were the very first coins, each one a small testament to the ancient art of turning precious metal into a universal medium of exchange. In the bustling markets of Sardis, the capital of Lydia, these new electrum coins created a vibrant economy. They were used by a wide range of people, though at first, they were most likely used for large-scale transactions by the state and wealthy merchants. The denominations were based on weight, with the largest unit being a stater, which weighed about 14 grams. Smaller fractions like a third, sixth, 12th, and even smaller denominations were also minted. This allowed for payments of varying sizes. The government might use staters to pay its mercenary soldiers or to fund large public building projects. Wealthy Lydian merchants quickly adopted the new technology. For them, coins were a game changer. A ship owner exporting fine Lydian carpets or a trader selling the kingdom's famous purple dye could now receive payment in a form that was easy to carry, store, and use for future purchases. It eliminated the need to weigh and assay gold dust for every sale. This newfound efficiency stimulated both local and international trade, helping Lydia become one of the most prosperous kingdoms of its time. The coins found their way into the hands of Greek traders from across the Aegean Sea, spreading the concept of coinage far beyond Lydia's borders. While large denominations were for the rich, the smaller fractions suggest that coins eventually trickled down to everyday life. A farmer might sell his surplus grain at the market for a few small electrum coins. A craftsman could sell pottery or tools and receive a payment that he could then use to buy food for his family. This was a slow but steady shift from a barter-based society to a monetized one. The coins gave people a new way to store their wealth. Instead of storing wealth in perishable goods like grain, they could save it in the form of durable, valuable coins. This new form of money also strengthened the power of the Lydian kings, like the famous King Croesus. By controlling the minting of coins, the king controlled the economy. Taxes could be collected in coin, which was much more efficient than collecting them in goods. The king's image on the coin was a constant reminder to the people of his authority and power. In essence, the Lydian coin was not just an economic tool, it was also a political one. It helped to centralize the state, fund its ambitions, and project its power throughout the ancient world. The Lydian invention of coinage did not remain a local phenomenon for long. The idea was too good, too powerful to be contained. Greek city-states, which had extensive trade contacts with Lydia, were among the first to adopt the practice. However, they soon made a critical improvement. The variable gold-to-silver ratio in natural electrum was a problem. It made the true value of a coin uncertain. The Greeks, and later King Croesus of Lydia himself, pioneered the separation of electrum into pure gold and pure silver. They began issuing the world's first bimetallic currency system, with coins of pure gold and coins of pure silver. This separation of metals was a major leap forward. It created a more stable and predictable monetary system. A gold coin had a clear value relative to a silver coin, making transactions more transparent and fair. This Lydian and Greek innovation spread rapidly. The Persian Empire, after conquering Lydia, adopted coinage and spread it across its vast territories, from Egypt to the borders of India. Alexander the Great would later mint massive quantities of gold and silver coins to pay his armies, carrying the concept of money to every corner of his empire. The Romans followed, creating a sophisticated monetary system that became the backbone of their economy. The fundamental principles established by the Lydians more than 2,600 years ago are still with us today. Although we no longer use coins made of precious metal for most transactions, our entire global financial system is built on the same foundation of trust and standardized value. A dollar bill, a euro, or a yen has no inherent value. It is a piece of paper or a digital entry. Its value comes from our collective faith in the government or central bank that issues it, the very same principle of trust that was established by the lion stamp on that first Lydian coin. The journey from an electrum stater to a digital transaction on a smartphone is a long one, but the line is direct. The Lydians taught the world that money is a social contract, an agreement that a token can represent value. This idea unlocked human potential, enabling the growth of empires, the flourishing of trade, and the development of complex societies. Every time we make a purchase, we are participating in a system that has its ancient roots in a small, shiny piece of metal struck in a busy workshop in the kingdom of Lydia, an invention that truly changed the world forever.